You segue this perfectly for me because you've been to the finals before. You played Hershey. You led in every game except for one, and that was Game 6.
Mm-hmm.
You only won 2 of those 6 games, but you took the first 2 in Hershey. And this is also a sore spot, I'm sure, because you were so close. Here's why I wanted to bring this up. Today is the 3-year anniversary, June 7th, of a franchise mark that you've done that nobody else has done with the Texas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is Game 3, was today, 3 years ago, against the Hershey Bears.
Yeah.
You scored first.
Yeah.
The team did. Hershey ties it, and it's 1-1. Then, I think it's 43 seconds later, you score.
Yeah.
A shorthanded goal.
Yeah.
You guys are up 2-0 in the series, having surprised the favorites. Everybody's thinking the Bears are going to win. They're the marquee franchise in the Eastern Conference. They have a great attendance. You've been to the Giants Center, great crowds, about 11,000, I think.
The best.
And it's a phenomenal facility. They've been in the league longer than everybody else. They've won more championships. Who are these Texas Stars in their first year kind of thing? And then, I mean, you guys did an amazing thing just to get there. You win 2 Game 7s after sweeping Rockford in the first round. You had some work to do against Chicago and Hamilton. But so you tied it to you score a shorthanded goal. You're the only player in Texas Stars history to score a playoff shorthanded goal. Nobody else has done that. What was the feeling like to score that? And what was the crowd reaction as all of a sudden you take a 2-1 lead on the favorites, chance to take a 3-0 lead in the series?
Like you mentioned, like Hershey's got a great fan, one of the best in the league, and it was loud there. 11,000, it was loud. But we get here with 7,000, 3 lefts, 3,000 left, and it was loud. It was unbelievable. Or the national anthem, you can barely hear them. So I was, I can say that we got the best fans in the league, year after year, and to score that goal, I still remember because it was kind of like a fluke goal, but it was, it went in, and I'm credited to it, so I'm glad. So, it was good pressure and everything, but it was unbelievable because I knew, and it was 2-1 after the first, or maybe 3-1.
3-1 actually.
3-1.
They scored, and you guys
to
scored
be
again.
In my mind, I'm like, if we're able to hold on, we can beat this team, and it's in the back. It's in the books.
Well, I wanted to bring that up because you scored to make it 2-1, and then the Stars scored again in the first period. So it was 3-1 after the first. Hershey scored 5 unanswered.
Yes.
2 in the second, and then 3 in the third. It was tied. It was 3-3 going into the third, so it could have gone either way. They scored 1 to take the lead, and then a late power play empty net. So it wasn't as one-sided as it sounds. So how deflating was that? Because you're still up 2-1 in the series. They ended up winning that. You had the lead and lost in overtime in Game 5 after they beat you in Game 4.
Game 4,
you had the lead in that.
We had the lead, and then they score. Then it was 2-2, and then we took a too-many-man penalty with a minute and a half left, and then Carlson scored a power play.
I didn't want to bring that one up.
So to be honest, there's – and then Game 5.
You have the overtime game.
We had the Giroux score. Bobble shot, top shot. It was like a fluke goal. So you talk about 2 games that could have gone either way. It could have been ours, and it was made to happen, I guess. You all learn as a player and I want to be a future coach, not right now.
You're not ready for that yet.
Nothing for another 10 years, hopefully. And you learn to stuff that you could do better, stuff you can. But they were so good. They had some firepower from every line.
They're
Boyd
amazing.
Kane was a 4th liner and had 20 goals that season. You talk about the firepower that they had.
The line on their power play with Aucoin and Giroux and Bork was just unbelievable.
And you have Carlson, you had Olsner, you had Perreault, and then you had
Bouchard.
It was just
Michael Neuvert was their goalie. You had Neuvert. You had Varlamov had just gone up to Washington. And then they had this kid, Holtby, who has become the best of those 3. I was deeply entrenched in the Eastern Conference at the time, so we saw these guys 8 times a year. But, what a series. That happening. So we have a little anniversary today.
Yes.
And this Texas Stars team, because of the fact that you guys were in first place for so long and first overall in the league, it not just fan but player expectation changes. And so as the finals start, there is that nagging. Do you think that you could have been there?
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously I really believe that the lowest that we would get would be the Western Conference. I was like, once we're there, it's us to grab it, but we can get there.
And it
Not
would
easy,
they're a
but
good
not.
team too,
I'm,
Grand Rapids.
yes, obviously, yeah. And I was like, there's, teams will beat us, but they cannot beat four straight, or four total on each the series. But that's hockey. That's hockey, and then you learn. You gotta learn because don't you can't just like and pity me. You gotta draw excuse. You learn. You make sure that you get ready, and sometimes it's good to get that little sweet bite in the lemon kind of taste. So you make sure next year like remember I want to get there. No, I don't want to get that happening again. So I'll push not harder because I really believe that we give it all. I mean let's put the fact we had a lot of banged up guys on our lineup, guys that couldn't perform to the top of their abilities.
Is that unsatisfying also because you know that there's more that could have been there? Not effort, because there's no doubt guys tried as hard as possible, which could have actually been trouble because sometimes when you try that hard, you do too much. But to know that there was a level of play that the team collectively, because of a lot of injuries, and you don't want to blame injuries, but you've seen better from that team than some of the games that you saw against Oklahoma City. Does that leave it unsatisfying?
Well, if you look at the first period, we were playing real good. We were probably ahead by a couple shots ahead as far as like playing time, some offensive chances, and they like I said it was kind of written in the sky that some of the other guys were scoring the big goals at the perfect right time. We didn't score at the right time, and then their goal player, he stood on his head. For 5 games. Credit to them, credit to him, and obviously, kind of disappointed for them. Obviously, that 2 years in a row they lose in the Western Conference. Obviously that must be really disappointing for them. But that's hockey. That's hockey, and that's the way it is. And I'm sure they still would like to get back to that 3-2 lead that they had in the third period. You know what I mean? And but that's the thing. You can never quit. And that was the same thing on us. We were up by a goal or two in game 3, and they scored. Yeah, game 4, and they scored some big bang. It was 3 goals in like 7 minutes.
Up 3-2 going into the third, you lose 7-3, and it wasn't a 7-3 score. That wasn't indicative.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this: all time, you rank second most in the franchise for a bunch of things. You had a couple firsts in goals and power play goals that this guy named Frazier passed you. Pretty good goal scorer.
To be honest, there's nothing to be ashamed of. That kid can shoot the puck. He's got. I never seen a guy that can shoot the puck better than him. To be honest with you, that last guy was like that was Alexander Giroux. He was firing that puck, but Giroux was his precision was probably better. That was better than his shot. And Fraz got both. He's got the precision. He's got a heck of a shot. So credit to him. That's definitely he's our weapon. Obviously on our team.
You're second most in games played. 14. You've played 280 games for the Stars regular season. Only Colton Seavier's played more, 14. Travis Morin's played 279, so he's one behind you. Does in 4 years to play that many games and to be in that list, not just to have put up the numbers, you're second in penalty minutes behind Gazdic, actually quite a large margin, almost 100. I understand why. You're tied for second power play goals. Frazier has 28 now because he had 17 this year, a pretty good year. Third in points, third in assists behind Morin, who's the leader in those categories. Second behind Sevier in game-winning goals. Tied for first in shootout-winning game winners. I wouldn't have guessed that. And the guy you're tied with, Matthew Tousigny. Another guy I wouldn't expect. Now, Sevier has the most shootout goals of any Texas Stars player, but only one of those has actually been the one that won the shootout. You and Tuesday lead the categories. Two guys that, there was a year you had the highest percentage. You went 3 for 4.
Yeah.
Was that all the big slap shot?
Yeah, it was. It was. And I guess now goalies they know that's coming. I did at the All-Star game, and it was a great shot. I always have good memories of that.
You scored 2 goals in the All-Star game.
Yep.
That was a good run for you.
You know what? It was a great season that year. Obviously, a lot of good stuff happened. The All-Star game was a huge opportunity, huge, so thankful, by the organization to send me there. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun, and it's just a great experience to be in. There's there's so many people that wish to be there, and a lot of good players don't get the chance to get there. So it was a great experience.
I read all those stats to you to bring up this as well. You're closing in on your 500th pro hockey game. You're at 471. You have 444 AHL games, so you're probably closing in on 500 of those. We had some big milestones this year with some of our guys. Toby Peterson played his 900th pro game, which is an amazing number. But you have all these top 3 stats. And with all the games played and everything, do you really feel, not just you, but you and some other guys, this is your team. The Texas Stars is your team. Do you feel a lot of sense of ownership, and do you use that as part of the way you lead the team with guys like Fortunas and Morin and Sevier and the guys that have been here since day one?
Definitely, there's a reason why we're here. The fact that more than we're good players, it's we got to lead the way. And this organization has been good for 4 years. Obviously, there's one that was disappointed, but overall, this organization has been pretty good. And we want to keep it that way. And that's the reason why we're back and guys are back. And for Whitey, Scott White's got good confidence in us, and he believes in us, and we're able to establish what we want. We're a coaching staff, and it's just the way that we play. That's just the way that me, Max, Mo been playing for the last 4 years. Steve, Gazzy, and if for our young guys, when they come in, it's easy for them to transition if they play that way. And obviously it's fun when you play and you have like you said, a sense of ownership. You've been there, you blood, sweat, all over the ice, and you have good memories. You want to keep it that way, and you want to say that that's my team. That's what I've been playing for, and to be able to do that here, it's a huge honor.
I know that your first attempt and focus right now is to get yourself ready for a chance to make the Dallas Stars, not just the Texas Stars. So I don't want to ask you and say, so what do you think the Texas Stars are going to be like, demeaning in any way your personal ambitions to try to be in the NHL, because everybody's here for that.
Yes.
But presuming that there's going to be a fierce fight for those spots, what do you think the Texas Stars team is going to look like this year? There's a lot of guys that still have to be either re-signed as restricted free agents or maybe some new guys to be bringing in. But just because the fact that there was a lot of rookie presence on this team this year, those guys will be in their second year next year.
Yep.
They don't have to go through that transition anymore. You have potentially an AHL Coach of the Year back. We could see Willie move on because there's no doubt that he's going to get some serious looks with Dallas, Vancouver, New York, etc. Do you think that the added experience from the season you had, the playoffs, whoever's in the mix is going to be very beneficial for next year?
Well, whoever's back for next year, depending who it is, young guy, older guys, you'll be better. You'll be better for next season. You'll be better in the season you just did. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it works. It's like this year we changed our lineup about like 3-4 times. Like we had the before lockout, the after lockout, and the after trade kind of thing. So who's gonna play for our team next year? We really don't know. Obviously, you got a certain number of guys that will be here. Young guys that will arrive, and we'll still have a little bunch of rookies that's gonna show up, and it's gonna be a transition on them. And then for second and third year guys, for them they gotta take the horn. They gotta take this team, say it's your team now, and make sure you help the young guys coming in to show them the way. And the Dallas Stars always put the great product on the ice, and I think the organization's been doing a great job to do the same thing with the American League. Our memo here is not just to develop players. We want to win as well, because I think you develop better when you win. There's more aptitude and good attitude to come to the rink when you win, so it's better to get better. So I think you look at the prospect, you look at the older guys that are still here. Depending on whoever's in Dallas that stays there, there's a lot of spots that will be open, so it's gonna be a great competitive camp, like individually. But whoever's gonna be here, it's gonna be a great product to be on the ice. But the memo will be the same. I think whoever's back, even if Willie's back or not, the memo is we win here and we play to win.
I could talk to you for 4 hours, and we've already gone way past what I thought we were going to do, which is great. But just the fact that there won't be a lockout this year.
Yep.
You maybe have some things happen around a trade deadline, but that's it. That's very late in the year when you think about it. is that going to be easier to have to find yourself as a team once as opposed to 2 or 3 times?
Obviously, probably yes, but in the same way, if Dallas, for some reason, I hope not, but they have a ton of injuries, and then 5, 6 guys get
Same thing
called up,
happens,
the
yep.
same thing happens, So it's hockey. You got to adjust, If you're not able to do that, you change career right now, There's ups and down. There's call up. There's send down. There's lineup changes. So as a hockey player, every morning it's different. You just prepare and bring your best to practice, and everybody individually do that. I mean, the hockey club would be okay. Obviously, the coaches, they got established, the reign at the beginning, say, hey, that's how we play, that's how we do. That's, good system, good practice, good tempo. And then after that, the players should steer the boat by themselves. And obviously, this year was kind of tough because, guys that were supposed to play here didn't. Guys that were supposed to play in Dallas didn't, so it was kind of tough for everybody. Everybody got stacked down. So, but I think this team made the best of it. A lot of good players came out, and who would have thought that Antoine Roussel would have get his first shot, and a big shot, and make the best out of it. And he was playing on the fourth line. He was not doing like anything special. He was doing his job. There's nobody that can do this job best than him. So credit to him. And he took the chance, and he did it, and he did great job. So obviously coming into next season, there's going to be a lot of high hopes, I do believe. But I think if you want to be successful, you need some high hopes in your team.
The last thing I'll ask you, and then I promise you we'll be done because we could
go
talk
any day.
We could talk
Can
all
go
day.
Any day. I'm
both
pretty
of
sure
us.
the fan wants to listen.
Let me ask you, because you have a lot of off the ice stuff going on, the house, the upcoming baby. What about the hockey stuff? What are you doing now? Because it's still only a couple weeks out, which is probably why those frustration feelings are still festering as deeply in me as well as you. But what are you doing with the body? What phase are you at as you head towards mid-September, which is ultimately when you have to not peak, but be getting close to that?
The number one thing for me personally, I got to take 2 to 3 weeks off completely. But having that said, having 2 kids at home and a dad that's at home every day, every night, I mean, I'm more busy than I was during the season, playing hockey with the boys and, doing the activities outside. And so, active is, I'm not taking 2 weeks off on the couch and watching movies and stuff. So it's definitely, it's always active at the house. So, but, just the big workouts or the big push, really letting the body just heal by itself, and just a little bumps and bruises kind of heals, like I said. But I started yesterday. I really like to swim, and yoga is really good for me. Being tall, and I need to keep everything strong, so that's good. And next week I'm gonna move in with some weights and everything. So it's starting real slow, but like I said, you're increasing every, and I always go with the 3 phase. The first phase is always strength, second phase strength, plyo, and a little bit of conditioning, and then third one is conditioning, plyometrics, and power. So that's always the phase that worked for me. And working with DJ and JJ and Jelly in Dallas, we do a plan that works for me.
How hard is it because a lot of guys stay off the ice for a while, but then they start skating or they play in a summer league, especially with some pretty good talent, whether it be NHL guys, AHL guys, because you go back home to Canada or wherever the home base is, a lot of hockey players come from a place where hockey is played in a large quantity. Hockey's played in Austin, Texas, but there aren't a lot of facilities. There's no ice at Cedar Park Center right now. There's only one place that has it. Do you get any access to that during the summer here?
Well, I'm not going to touch you guys until the end of June, so I'm thinking about skating start in July. And I'll probably, I'm putting kind of the words there. I want to join a men's league. I haven't talked to anybody, so if somebody wants,
you're a free agent then.
Yes, I am. So if somebody wants me on your team, I'm ready at the beginning of July. So count me in. I'll help any team the best I can, and I promise I'm not gonna let you down.
Email Owen Newkirk. I will take care of any agent's fees, and we'll make quite a deal out of this.
2%. 2%.
I was thinking more than 2%. We'll have to do that off the air. Francis, thanks so much for taking the time with us. Probably going to be the longest interview of the summer until we do another one. But again, congratulations on all your accomplishments to this point, and we really look forward to, I would say, hopefully some Dallas Stars hockey in your future, but definitely some Texas Stars hockey next year.
Like I mentioned, obviously my goal is to be in Dallas, but there's not any other place I would like to be back to play in the American League. It's a great development league. It's a great place to play. And just want to say one thing, fans, thank you so much for all your support on our team and for me. You guys have been awesome, and looking forward to see you guys next season if I'm back here playing in Cedar Park.
Well, this has been the first installment of our off-season Summer with the Stars series. I hope you enjoyed listening to Francis Wathier today. We'll have plenty more throughout the summer, week to week. For Francis Wathier, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks so much, everyone.